All right, in this video, you are going to learn how long you should fast. So, I recommend a 16-hour minimum for men because 16 hours, right around that point, research has shown that at the 16-hour point, your hormones are really starting to optimize for fat burning, for breaking down adipose tissue, which is your fat cells, into being metabolized. So I recommend minimum of 16 hours for men. I recommend 12 to 14 hours for women because the hormones are different in women and they're a little bit more sensitive to fasting. So if you are a woman, I recommend 12 to 14 hours. Men, preferably 18 to 20 hours. Okay, this is because after 16, you really start getting into the optimal hormone production of fat burning. Okay, so your hormones are really kicking up, and your HGH is way up, like 2,000% up. So everything is working in your benefit at this point. So you want to stay in this fasted state as long as possible. So 18 to 20 hours is really good. That's where I like to fast. I like to fast in between 18 and 20 hours. Okay, now how often should you fast? And that's all dependent on your goals and what you want to do. Obviously, the more days a week you intermittent fast, the more fat you're going to burn. It's just that simple. It's common sense. Okay, so I recommend no less than 3 days a week and no more than 5 days per week. People say, well, if I want to burn the most fat, why don't I fast for 7 days a week? Fast every single day. And I don't recommend that for a couple reasons. The main reason is because if you're constantly fasting every single day, that means that your caloric intake is probably too low throughout the whole week. So what you want to do is have, 5 days of intermittent fasting where your caloric intake is less than normal. And then on those 2 days where you're not fasting, you're eating a lot of calories. You're eating more calories so that your metabolism doesn't slow down and your metabolism doesn't get used to eating only 2,000 calories a day. You don't want that. You want to have days where you eat more calories, and that's why I don't recommend intermittent fasting every day. Okay, so that's how long you should fast. Now, some of you might be asking about longer fasts like 24, 48, 72-hour fasts, and those are fine. Now, I recommend maybe once every month, once every 2 months, for those. And if you're into that, there's a lot of different benefits that come in after 24 hours. Especially for autophagy and different things like that, different functions of your cells and rejuvenation of cells. It's really good for that, and it's also good for fat burning. But for this course, for this Fire Fat Fast intermittent fasting course, 18 to 20 hours for men, 16 hours. If you're feeling hungry at 16 hours and you just can't take it anymore, then go ahead and break your fast like the way we tell you to do it in the program. No big deal. Every now and then, if I'm fasting 5 days a week, I might have 4 days where I hit the 18 to 20, and 1 day where I'm just hungry and I decide, hey, I'm only going to fast 16 hours today, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, your range when you start the intermittent fast, that's also important. You need to keep that the same. Okay, so I start at 10 o'clock at night, and then I'll go until, if I'm doing 18 hours, I'll go from 10 o'clock at night till 4 o'clock the next day. And that will be like my 18-hour fast, and sometimes I won't even eat till 6 or something like that. And then I'll have a 4 or a 6-hour eating window. Okay, and that would be from like either 6 to 10 at night or from 4 to 10 at night, whichever one I choose. Okay, now that's important to keep consistent. It's really important to keep that eating window consistent in your fasting window. So if you go to bed later, if you're going to bed at midnight, then just start your fast at midnight. Okay, it's all dependent on your schedule. You can adapt this to your work schedule. If you work night shifts, if you work different things, it works for your schedule. Just figure out a 16-hour period where you don't eat, okay? A 16-hour period where you don't eat, and then you'll have that 8-hour period, 6-hour period, 4-hour period, depending on how long you're gonna go for your eating window. So guys, this is how long you should fast. This is the ins and outs of it. If you have any questions, post in the Facebook group that you're a part of, and we'll get you an answer as soon as possible.